Good morning and welcome to our special edition of the 2016 NFL Draft. Today we have a great show for you.
Yes, we do, Jeremy. Today we're going to break down the Bears picks and discuss whether or not the Bears should draft Ezekiel Elliott. Should he be left on the board, draft a defensive lineman, or potentially trade up?
Hey, let's just stop this all nonsense. Let's go.
All right, well, the Chicago Bears come into this weekend with holes all over the place on defense. So let's take a look at all 9 of the Bears picks. Now, this is a team that was 22nd in the league in sacks and 30th in takeaways. Those are abysmally low numbers for a team whose identity is predicated on defense. So, Jeremy, how do they get better?
Apparently, you have to go cornerback first, defensive end, all this nonsense. They have obviously the first round pick, 11th overall, second round, 41st overall, third round, 72nd overall. And they also have 2 fourth-round picks, 5th, 2 6th, and a 7th. So I would say, defensive end, cornerback, they need everything. Linebacker, any position you could find in the draft, just go after.
All right, well, let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott. Potentially could fall to the Bears at number 11.
Ezekiel Elliott is hot right now. I'm not sure if he'll still be on the board when the Bears pick, but, he will still be available. I believe he'll still be available. What do you think?
Well, see, I don't think Ezekiel Elliott's going to fall to number 11. I think he'll probably go to Cleveland at number 8. Now, obviously, the dream scenario for the Bears is to get Ezekiel Elliott, 1,800 yards, 23 touchdowns last year, and he's an Alton, Illinois native, so I'm sure he wants to play for his hometown team. But with those kind of numbers, I just don't see, even with the loss of Matt Forte, I don't see the Bears taking him, and I don't see him falling to the Bears at number 11. He's just too talented. He's the number 1 running back in this draft class.
I just feel like a lot of those teams in the top want to go defense first.
They could go defense, but I think the biggest threat other than Cleveland at 8 is probably the Cowboys at 4, who desperately need a running back and have not ruled out Ezekiel Elliott even after signing Alfred Morris. So that's a team to look out for. He could go, that's the thing with Ezekiel Elliott is we really don't know. He could go as early as 4, or there's some mock drafts that have him dropping past the Bears to 13 or 14. So
yeah, I've seen that too.
It really all depends on what the teams need and how strongly they feel they need running backs.
Like teams like the Cowboys and the Browns, I feel like they just need so many defensive guys, the playmakers, that I just feel like they're not going to go with the running back because I feel like their defensive is more of a need.
Yeah, it's really going to be based on whether or not teams want the best available player or whether you draft your biggest need. That's what's going to predicate where Ezekiel Elliott goes. And then we'll talk about a little bit about Ronnie Stanley, who I know someone else that the Bears are looking at.
Of course. Let's talk about Stanley, who's definitely a player the Bears actually need. He's ranked as the 11th best tackle today, and if he's on the board, that's a pretty good pick for the Bears. Eddie, what do you think?
I mean, again, I think it's a good pick for the Bears, but I look at Tampa Bay at number 9. You draft a quarterback last year, number 1 overall in Jameis Winston. No protection on that offensive line. None whatsoever. So I don't see Ronnie Stanley falling further than 9 because there's so many teams in front of the Bears that need an offensive tackle. And even if he's still there, the Bears signed Bobby Massey from Arizona. That's 3 years. That's $18 million. That's money spent in free agency on an offensive tackle. So it's hard for me to say, well, yeah, we already got an offensive tackle in free agency. Let's now spend a first-round pick. I think there's other positions you could go. You could go safety there. You could go corner there. You could go defensive end. So it's hard. If you spend that money in free agency, I think that's because they want veteran guys on the O-line. They don't want to train a rookie. So I think defensive end's probably a better option for the Bears at that point.
You don't think Stanley would be more of an upgrade over the guys that they already have?
No, I think they have good guys. Bobby Massey's $6 million a season. I think Kyle Long's moving back to tackle. So I mean, it's to me their strongest position is probably offensive tackle when you look at the players that they have along that line. So if it was maybe a guard, I would say yeah. But right now I don't think it's a smart move for the Bears to go number 11 with a tackle. And then we'll talk about Jared Goff, who's the potential number 1 pick. Do you think the St. Louis rather, or Los Angeles rather, they moved, will take Goss or Carson Wentz?
I believe, at first I thought Wentz, but now I believe maybe Goff because, everyone's talking about like he's like the prodigy. He's the next new thing. Wentz, they're saying because he's not the FBS one, they're saying, oh, he wasn't facing the top competition. He's mainly, Goff was playing at the University of Cal. He was playing the top competition, USC, all these other UCLA, Oregon. I feel like they're going to go with the guy who's more known.
Do you think the fact that Jared Goff is from California and went to school in California might have something to do with the fact that Los Angeles wants to take him? Because when you're looking at the Rams roster right now, they need a guy that's going to sell tickets. And I don't think there's anyone on that roster. So you draft, a hometown quarterback who went to school locally to come play in LA. I think that puts people in the stands, doesn't it?
Of course. You get the local guy, get the fans in the seats. They want to go see that quarterback. They want to go see some guy who showed the team that they could believe in the next step. Playoffs, just try to upgrade. I feel like the quarterback position, they're not trying to upgrade. They had like Sam Bradford, like Nick Foles. I feel like Jared Goff would be an upgrade over both those guys that they've had previously. So that would be way better than what they've had.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So we don't have much time left, but just talk about who you think the Bears might take in number 11. Who's your money on?
I'm going to go with Ezekiel Elliott. I feel like he is going to fall. I feel like somehow, some way, he's going to fall down to the Bears. And the Bears fans will just be loving it because they lose Matt Forte. I don't know if they really have confidence in Jeremy Langford. He had played 4 good games. After that, not really that much. That's a very small sample size. So I feel that Ezekiel Elliott, which they're projecting for some people are saying the best running back since Adrian Peterson in the draft, that could be, I don't know about that part, but draft-wise, I feel like he will fall to them, and they'll be satisfied with their selection.
Well, I got the Bears taking Kevin Dodd from Clemson, defensive end, and number 11 overall. I think that's their biggest need. If they want Ezekiel Elliott, in my opinion, they're going to have to trade up. Maybe swap with the Browns, who are still looking to move down because there's really nobody that they need at 8. But if the Bears want Ezekiel Elliott, they're going to have to trade up. But the good thing is we only have to wait 2 more days to see who will be the number 1 pick. So on that note, don't forget the draft starts this Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Roosevelt Auditorium Theater, and Draft Town is right across the street in Grant Park.
That does it for our special edition of the 2016 NFL Draft. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week.